I've been muted that entire time. Well done, me. It's going well. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're having a good time. Hope you're having a good evening. Today, I have a little bit of news on good old buddy Cheikhou Kouyaté, who we all figured maybe he's going to come to Leeds. Maybe he's going to make the move as soon as feasibly possible. Or maybe we're going to get incredibly deeply unlucky. And we are going to be looking for quite a significant amount of time at a guy that is clearly sat in Thorpe Arch waiting to make a move, waiting to sign a contract. And then it doesn't happen. Which is, in my opinion, a little bit of a concern to be had. So I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts on that. I'm looking forward to seeing what the hell I think on that, because I'll be honest, I've not properly formed an opinion yet. And on a much sort of wider basis, I do have one question for you guys, right? And I'm going to do this as a banner because it's fairly important. And at various points throughout this lovely little stream, I'm going to ask you one simple question, one very easy question. And that is, which of the Leeds United YouTube creators are some of your favourites? Because I'm trying to organise a thing, a fun little big thingy. And that will require your guys' help. Throw names at me. Any names, no matter what you think of said names. Some of your favourites, and that would be really, really useful. But back onto the Kouyate issue. And we need to discuss what Danny has mentioned just there, because there is something interesting to dive into here. Danny says he heard he'd failed his medical, but wasn't his medical supposed to have happened on Friday? This is where there's a big confusion, right? So Graham Bailey has been saying for a significant amount of time, since a while back, that on Friday, which is, 4 days ago now, Cheikhou Kouyaté was in the door at Thorpe Arch, as he reportedly had been for the majority of last week, doing a medical, and the medical was fine, and we were just waiting to complete that deal. Now, what seems to have happened with all of that is that either didn't happen and we were being lied to, or that has happened and being lied to by someone else, because reports come out today from someone that is a fairly reliable leaker kind of guy on Twitter, that the medical failed today and all of the deal was agreed. Now, diving in a little bit more into further detail and such, those two things can't be true at the same time. You can't have one situation in which he passed the medical on Friday and they were just waiting to hammer out all the financial details and all that sort of stuff, while simultaneously on the other side of the internet, you've got someone saying, well, no, the deal is agreed, it's the medical that wasn't passed. So that makes it tough. But basically, you've got two different people saying that he either failed or he hasn't, or that the finances are done or they're not. So that puts us in this weird flux where we don't actually know what's going on behind the scenes. I'm just going to go through a couple of comments now. On this, Andrew, looking at the squad at the start of the season, in which you've got 4 senior midfielders, you have Autanaka, Japan international, Joe Rothwell, not a bad player in the slightest, Ethan Ampadu, Wales international, and occasionally captain for them, and captain at Leeds, and why is my brain not clicking? There you go. Ilya Gruev, Bulgarian international. You're looking at those 4 players, and if you are unironically going to tell me that that wasn't enough players in August, and that you fully expected us to have a huge injury issue in which we lost our 2 starting midfielders, well done, because you have insight into the future that hasn't been seen since some dugout episode of Doctor Who or something. Miraculous levels of foresight there. But let's be honest, no one was thinking that. When it came to August, everyone was saying, cool, we're good for midfielders. Let's look on the wings. Let's look at a 10. Let's look at a left back, maybe a centre back. No one was looking in the centre of midfield because we'd done that. Because in one window, we'd gotten 2 midfielders. And they were great. I heard 2 things about Kouyate deal. First from Just Joe earlier was that he failed his medical, and on Connor Leeds one. I know what you mean. He knows about his 1 month, 35 grand a week. Okay, so I sort of speculated on my first video on this entire subject. Was it a video or a stream, or did I record myself doing the video? I can't quite remember. I think I streamed the recording of it or something like that. That it's a situation in which surely him being in the building for so long meant that we were either taking a really long look at him, whether that was medical or quality-based, or he was asking for more money. I didn't think that money would necessarily be an issue because we've got a good bit of it. But at the same time, I didn't quite envision him potentially wanting £35,000 a week, because that is quite a lot of cash. That is, I think, more than the vast majority of the squad. I think that's roughly that is more than Bamford, actually, off the top of my head, maybe. And Bamford is someone that signed his contract when we're at the peak of the Premier League, so Kouyate is clearly used to having far too much money, if that is the case. But again, can't be 100% sure because we know that in one direction or the other, things are incredibly rocky in this situation. There is a potential of this as well. Typical 49ers keeping everything in-house until the deals are done. That is always likely. The 49ers like to be hush-hush, they like to be nice and quiet, they like to get things done sneaky-beaky, like many of the signings this summer we didn't know were happening until they were happening. But in this case, we know that he's in the door. So we don't quite know what's going on with that because we know that he's at Thorpe Arch. We know that something's going on. Just don't know how it's going on, what direction it's going on. It's chaos, but we love a bit of chaos, right? What I don't get, if he's been there this long, do medical professionals not train? Not necessarily, though, is the thing. You can go and train, and training drills are completely different because a lot of training drills are the passing stuff or just try set piece after set piece after set piece after set piece after set piece. Training isn't always the hard tackling stuff that's murder ball style. A lot of the time it is run through this one situation many, many times and it will become a rhythm. It will become familiar to you. So you can do that, but not be ready for a full match. So that throws the timeline a little bit. Makes you wonder why no other clubs are coming for him. Age would be my guess. And the fact that a lot of the time he's likely to want to be a first choice option, if that makes sense. So if he's going to go to a club, clearly you can tell by the amount of money he's asking for, if that's the amount of money that he's asking for, that he wants to be a number one somewhere. Or not a number one, but like a lead midfielder at a club. Can't see that happening at Leeds, because the moment you get Gruev and Ampadu back, one of them definitely starts, and I imagine Tanaka likely takes the other spot because having watched him play for Japan earlier today, very, very good. Honestly, very unlucky to not get a couple of assists. So he's not going to get that at Leeds, and I don't think he can get that at many other sides unless they're like lower-level championship clubs, and they are not likely to be paying the sort of wages that he wants. Again, if those are the wages that he wants, that makes it a whole difficult conversation because you can't be 100% certain either way. I am going to ask the question from earlier again. I'm going to keep asking this question because I kind of want to know the answer. Ideally, more out there people. I've covered the majority of the sort of basics. But if you have any Leeds United YouTube creators, please shout them at me, and I will do my best to remember them and put them into a spreadsheet for a thing that I am planning. It's a top secret thing. It's a really fun thing, but I think it'll be good. But yeah, outside of that, when it comes to potential other signings, we know that the Kramer thing wasn't going to happen because Kramer didn't want to leave Germany. We know that outside of that, kind of tough. The issue is, Danny, there are already people that are on my list, which is the problem. He's used to Premier League wages and probably sees himself as a Premier League player, so £35,000 a week is not good enough for him, with him holding up for another Premier League club to come in. Yeah, that's probably the spot that I think he's in. Probably. Which is a concern, I think. It's not good for his career, I'll be completely honest with you. For his career, that is basically, I'm going to make sure that I don't play a game of football at a decent enough level for a significant proportion of time. Because you're just going to work yourself into a corner in which you are too old and not good enough and no clubs want you. And I feel like that's not a position that you really, really want to be in. if you're Kouyate here. One sec. Just need to very, very quickly do a thing. I'm just going to note down those names that you suggested, Danny. I do note that you put yourself down on that list, and I mean, fair enough. You might as well. I've already got Evie on the list as well. I heard that Bamford's the top owner at Leeds on £70,000 a week. That one isn't true. It's not the case. Let's calm down. Let's not be in the position where we're like, I saw a thing on the internet and now I believe it. No, we're better than that. We're better than that here. We are calm and we look at actual facts. Bamford is one of the people that signed a contract that had a big, like, relegation wage drop thing in it. So it will still show in various places as 70 grand a week, but it's been confirmed by multiple journalists several times that he had his wage slashed by like 50% plus. He ain't on that much anymore. Like Michael stated on the Journey's blog, he was up at Thorpe Arch, but the sticking point was him and his agent were asking for more money than advertised, and only approached Leeds on this later. Yeah, I did see Jer's video on it, and the general thought that I got was Amiri is definite. This sounds significantly more wrong than you imagine it does, and it's a bit Amiri-esque, I think, which isn't where we really want to be right now. We don't want to be dealing with people that are trying to hold us over a barrel for more money, because that's A, how you get ripped off, and B, how you end up with players that are willing to do that once and will therefore be willing to do that time and time and time and time again. Players that would be very, very not good for the in dressing room vibe, I would say. You see, I'm having a quick look at news now again, and they're doing that thing where they're like, hey, it's the international break. Let's just make some shit up, which is always fun. Ah, thank you. I like being an egg. Eggs are really versatile, so I will take it. But if you're still here, name some YouTubers, Evie, in the Leedsy space that you think could be good for that thing that I mentioned that you said you might not be ideal for, but I found a role for you within. If you can think of anyone that is potentially like unexpected, that would be fantastic, because I currently have a list of like 24 people down already. But yeah. We're not better than that. We were watching it play much more than ever. I will be honest with you, Ricky. I will be completely honest with you. That entire stream was built from the very, very bottom as like a, oh, cool, I'm just going to have a little bit of a chat about Tanaka. And then people were like, look, it's on Flight Radar. And that spiraled. It spiraled in a really fun way, though. I really enjoyed it. It was a really good time. Oh, I miss the madness of the transfer window. I don't. I miss the madness of club football, to be honest. And that's good, because we've got another international break soon. Yay! Oh, we love international breaks. What do you think? Oh, Thomas Tuchel, England manager. I don't know. He's someone that has, in the past, managed to win pretty big competitions, such as a Champions League, and is fairly good when he's got a decent standard of player to deal with. I think getting sacked by what that Chelsea side turned into was not particularly his own fault, because Chelsea are a joke. I cannot believe that you've managed to list everybody that I have already asked. No one said no yet, though, which is especially good. Yeah, I'll be honest with you. Twice England have played this week, and I haven't realised until like 5 minutes before kickoff. which is great. I love it. It's fantastic. Right, 1 second. Whilst I'm simultaneously doing this, I need to write a big to-do list, which I will try and include. Do daily videos, because I keep forgetting to do that, which is probably a bit of a problem. Because I quite like doing daily videos, but I can really struggle to get motivated and get my head into the right spot for that. Am I over the Melier incident? Yeah, I'll be honest. I was over it the day after it happened. Because it's one of those where if you have goal kept in the past, you know how horrific it feels to have something like that happen. And I know that, to be honest, if that happens at any other point in the game other than the last moment, everyone's probably significantly more chill. So, yeah, I can't be as mad as everyone wants everyone else to be, because I've done that exact same thing before. Not exactly the same. I've probably done more embarrassing, because mine was on a pitch that didn't have any divots in it. 1 sec. 1610, 1810. Oh, I've got 3 on 1910. Don't go budgets yet. That could be more of a challenge, but I will do my best. Oh, I'm going to ping you a message right now, and it's going to be great. It's an idea. I don't know if it's a good idea, but it's a fun idea. Okay, I've messaged you it now, so you should know. Radio Leeds today stated that even though Farke doesn't like free agents and isn't keen on Kouyate, spokesperson on the radio said, why not get him to boost squad numbers both on field and in training? I don't mind boosting the numbers. Boosting the numbers is fine. That's all well and good. I can completely back that. Where my concern comes in is we can't not pay these people, you know? And considering there were a couple of players that we decided to not make a move for in the summer because money, it feels a little bit wild to be like, yeah, this guy who is 34 years old wants 35 grand a week. And we've gotten a little bit too good at paying a hell of a lot of money for someone that's ultimately ineffective. Reminder for you. I was going to do a reminder for you, then I completely forgot who I was talking about. No, I didn't. It's come to mind. Sam Allardyce earns something like £250,000 for running Leeds United for 4 games. That's nuts. That's insanity. And I feel like if we're in a position where, this is a pretty good way of putting it. Kouyate, if we do make that move, is someone that is injury prone. And yeah, he brings a lot of experience, and I would absolutely love if we could use that experience. But how much are we going to get to use said experience? Because injuries. It's a risky one. This is the thing. I don't even know if it's already off. I know that we've heard word from absolutely everyone in every single different direction. This move has been off, and it has been on, and it has been off again, and it has been on again. Again and again and again and again and again. And it's getting tiring now. I'll be honest with you. 1 second. Valladolid. Right, shit. We're playing Friday evening, aren't we? Big Sam was probably fuming he didn't get the $250,000. No, that's the thing, he did. Allardyce got the $250,000. You know what he was fuming at? What he was fuming at was the fact that if he were to have kept us up, that $250,000 would have become $1 million. At which point we would have paid him £250,000 for every single match that he managed the club. or something stupid like that. Why would we do that? I don't know. Radrazani reasons. But I'm glad that we didn't, because that would have made things real messy. Yes, Friday 8 p.m. Okay, cool. Thank you very much. Just because what I'm noting down at the minute is I can't show you half of my blackboard because that's all secret plans. But on this half of my blackboard, I'm just writing down all the shifts that I've got to do for this weekend, which is one of them tomorrow evening. I won't be able to stream tomorrow evening. Sorry. One Friday, which is at the same time as our match. Brilliant. Then 3 matches on the 19th, and then 1 on the 20th. No, 2 on the 20th, and then I've not got anything until that Friday, because I'm heading to Leeds on Tuesday, sticking over till Wednesday. Hold on. Celta versus Real Madrid. Oh, cool. I got a Real Madrid match. Oh, never mind. And then I've got a cheeky bit of MotoGP. Followed by the 20th. Cagliari. Torino. And Villarreal. Getafe. Sorry, I have to note this down as soon as I can, otherwise I will forget to, and I will completely miss one of the events that I'm doing, which is a lot. Am I being on the train or am I walking it? Oh, I'm just gonna walk it. It might take what, 2 days? I'm tempted, I'll be honest, because I do like a good walk, but I don't like that much of a walk. I'm not that tempted. You're hot and you're cold. You're yes and you're no, Kouyate. Yeah, we love a guy that can't make his pissing mind up. Anyway, we need a vlog of Crystal's first Leeds match. Do I have some news for you? The answer is yes, I do. That's the plan. So, not going to be able to do a podcast on the Wednesday because I'm busy. Crystal's on a plane. So, I think the idea is going to be film throughout the Tuesday, and then Wednesday, I'm going to do an edit and get the edit out, hopefully, for the time that we normally do stream. But that isn't necessarily going to be the easiest thing. So I'll do my best, but I do also have a busy Wednesday. So it's going to be quite hard to work out the balance on that one, but that's okay. 1 second. Very much uninteresting. Cool. But yeah, that's the general idea, to do a vlog of the day, and then hopefully that'll fill in for the stream. So glad Tuchel got the England job, at least Man United didn't get him. Why? I mean, Man United getting him would have been a good thing, right? Because, I mean, he's not going to improve them, realistically. If anything, that's just going to cause various problems for absolutely everybody. Because it's not a well put together club in the slightest. And you know what? That's what we enjoy about them right now. They're always in the middle of falling to shit. So, oh, hang on. This is Farke's fault for persisting with 2 central midfield players who were both injured within a week of each other. If you just stuck with 1 central midfielder and either Rothwell or out alongside, these wouldn't need Kouyate. Okay, so to run you through it, That first game with the first injury, where Ampadu gets injured, it does not matter who is playing alongside Ethan Ampadu, even a little bit. Because Ethan Ampadu is playing as the 6, gets into a tackle, and gets an impact injury. This isn't a long-term wear and tear thing. This is goes into a tackle, crunches together with his opposite number, and it doesn't end well. Cool. The next match, Gruev is playing in the 6. Impact injury, the end. For me, it doesn't particularly matter one way or the other. Because either way, one of them is going to play as the 6 in that first match, the other is going to play as the 6 in that next match. It wasn't they were injured simultaneously in the same match because they played in the same role. They were injured doing basically what you are saying, with one player getting injured through a pretty hefty challenge, and then effectively his replacement, Gruev, because they changed the system about a bit to put Tanaka in, then proceeding to also get injured in a separate game. This isn't anything to do with the fact that they played at the same time as each other, at all. And there is that as well. Injuries happen anytime, regardless of position, can't really be helped. Shit happens, you know? This might happen. This is where things get difficult, because recording restrictions and stuff in the ground. I'm gonna see what I can do, but it's not gonna be easy. Oh dear. Mateo Joseph wasn't in Spain's under-21 squad, but he trained with the squad yesterday. He's not started and he's not on the bench. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna change things up a little bit, because I think this could get a little bit zesty. I think this could get a little bit spicy, and this is something interesting. No, they haven't played him for some reason. Yeah, this is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking it don't look good, but there's definitely a video in it somewhere, and I was going to record it after this, so I'm going to ask you it in poll format. Would you like me to plan and record the video on stream? No. Don't know if it was the thing that was agreed between club and country. It's not super likely. That's my main thought. Hello, by the way, Will Coswax. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, it's not a common thing. If that is a choice on our part, then I think it's a very good choice for us to have made. But I want us to be as safe and secure in this entire thing as we can. Anything that stops injuries is good. Anything that risks injuries is bad and spooky. But if anyone has any strong opinions on what the plan should be in terms of getting said video recorded, because I'm going to do a video at some point on the Mateo stuff, just ping a vote in that poll and let me know what you think, and then we'll make a decision. Aronson playing at 3:30 a.m. our time tonight. Yeah, that's ridiculous. Playing first thing on Wednesday morning when we have a match on Friday night is stupid. Beyond belief. I don't understand how we're in a world in which that's gone on. Stupid. Rather you get out of the game and just enjoy the game with Crystal without any distractions. That will sort of be the idea. But there's a slight sort of twist on it. It's going to be as focus on match as feasibly possible, while still simultaneously being a bit like, okay, we'll do some recordy bits as well. Because the idea isn't to sort of like dampen that experience at all, but to sort of build that experience. And it's looking like you folks are leaning towards doing the recording on stream. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some banners ready. I think I just heard shouting from the neighbours. News that may be hit with injury. Left out of Spain under 21 side. And then I will run through. What should we run through? Anyone got any thoughts? We'll do potential injury risk. What the manager said. What else could it be? What this means for Leeds. Aronson playing really late. Yeah, that's also a problem. What to keep an eye on? Other international players. And we'll do a what do you think? And we will also go over to a questions corner because we love questions corner. Questions corner is everyone's favourite place to go. And if anyone says that questions corner isn't their favourite place to go, they are lying. They are as full of shit as the sewers. I'll do returning players as a question mark because that would be a bit of a weird one. I'm going to save that a little bit more for the presser chat because I don't want to be wrong, but I'm going to sort of allude to it in this one. Where's my notebook gone? I don't know. Fucking hell. It's right proper lost. I don't like that. Oh, there it is. Literally right behind me. Well done. I'm so clever. It's great. I'm so smart. I love losing things without moving me or the things. Press tomorrow at 1:30 if you have time between work. I've been real big dumb and I forgot to write down the hours that I'm working on my whiteboard. But I do have work tomorrow evening. Are we still British summertime? If we're still in British summertime, then my shift starts at like 7:30. I was planning on doing a stream for someone else, depending on if I have time, but we'll find out. Either way, I'm going to get into doing this little video, but I'm going to do it at a time that's easily remembered. I'm going to start at 35 minutes. And I'm going to end after at least 8 minutes, because that's what YouTube demands. Yeah. Anyway, they go back in 2 weeks. Okay, cool. Anyway, going to hop into it. Injuries are very, very scary. It doesn't matter what football team you play for, what football team you watch, what football team you work for. Injuries are one of the biggest threats you will have to continuity in your side, and they can cause you some pretty big worries going throughout a season, especially right now in the international break, where some of your players are having a nice little bit of time off and they're having a chill and they're relaxing, but your other players are off playing 90 minutes again and again and again and being run into the dirt and potentially hurting themselves. And at the end of the day, in this situation, it means that a youngster may have been hit with another significant injury, as Mateo Joseph has been left out of Spain's under-21 side for their match today. Yeah, today. I'll put this video out today. It's fine. So, in the stream, I'm going to run through the potential injury risk that is going on, what the manager said, if it could potentially be something else, what all this means for Leeds United, what to keep an eye on, and ultimately we'll talk about what you guys think. The subscribers, the members, the viewers. And if you're not subscribed, there's a button right down there. Massively appreciated. Anyway, diving into it. There is a potential injury risk with Mateo Joseph. Basically, he played their last match in the under-21s, whatever tournament they're playing in, and he did really, really well. I think, did he score a hat-trick, I think, maybe? And effectively just sort of showed why he's a player that we're happy to start time and time and time again. But then he was left out of the next match, and everyone knows that if you've got a player that's scoring a lot of goals and then you leave them out, odds are they could be potentially injured, and that is very, very dangerous as a position to be in, especially if you're Leeds United and you're currently looking at a situation where, well, James and Solomon have just been injured, and then Ampadu and Gruev are injured, and then Vuba also injured, and there's just a long, long, long list of players that are out and not in the side, and that is absolutely not great. But there is an important point to be made, because Spain's manager has also had his say on what has happened with this, because recently they won a match by blowing a team out of the water. It was Kazakhstan, so obviously they managed to beat them. And in today's match, the head coach basically said, yeah, I made 11 changes to the team. We changed absolutely everyone. Mateo Joseph played yesterday, which don't know whether that's yesterday for now or yesterday for 2 days ago, depends on when I'm putting the video out, but apparently he trained and was fit and healthy, so that makes things very, very, very complicated, in my opinion, because that means it could be a whole range of things that are the problem. That could be Mateo Joseph is potentially injured and has a little bit of a knock, or it could be that the Spain side is just resting him, or maybe thinking, maybe we take a look at him for the senior side, because Spain, in terms of number 9s, have never been fantastic. They're always leaning a little bit too hard on Alvaro Morata, who isn't that good at what he does. Well, he sort of is, but he's also not. It's very confusing. And then at the same time, there's a widening of the conversation to be had of, well, what job did Leeds United do here? Because Leeds can always have a word with the number 21 squad and say, look, he's going to be playing for us anyway. The point of under-21 side is you are developing the player. He ain't going to develop if we overwork him. So it could be a case of we've worked together with them and said, okay, you can have him for 90 minutes. From that point, we'd really like him to not play the second match, which is a much safer approach of doing things, and is something that I would really like to see Leeds United doing, especially when it comes to that young talent that needs to be fit and healthy. And what it means for Leeds United sort of depends on what the situation is. If we're taking everyone at face value and saying, okay, cool, he's not injured, everything should be fine. Brilliant. All good. Not a problem there. That means he'll be all good for the match against Sheffield United, should be fine for Watford, and that's fine. But then there always is the potential risk of, what if it's a knock? What if it's something minor that's keeping him out? What if the Spanish under-21s manager is being a little bit coy about it? Because even though he wasn't in the first 11, not even being in the subs for the second match is very weird. Because a bunch of the players that started last time will have been on the bench for this one, because that's how squads work. You use your entire squad. And that's why I'm a little bit confused by the entire thing. There is some good news for Leeds United, though, because it looks likely that Mana Solomon, Dan James will return. There's no particular word on Max Vuba yet, but that's a probably not. But those two wing options coming back will be absolutely huge for us. And it means that over the next few hours, we have a hell of a lot to keep an eye on. For example, I was working in my job for a broadcaster watching Ao Tanaka play for Japan. He just played 90 minutes against Australia. now has to travel the width of the world to get back for Friday. Similar for Brendan Aronson, who's playing in the US right now, will fly back and will hopefully have enough time to recover. You can never tell, though, because you need to keep an eye on those other international players, because there's a risk of injury. Whilst I think Tanaka came out of it okay, Australia were playing very much like an international Burnley, very kicky stuff, very rough stuff, because the Japanese team physically, a fairly small group of lads. The Australian side, massive. So they just kicked him a bit. Ended up coming out of it with a 1-1 draw. Australia got what they wanted. Hopefully, we get what we want, which is a fit and healthy Ao Tanaka coming back. But what we ultimately need to keep an eye on is Daniel Farke's press conference tomorrow, because in that we will learn about the Manor Solomon thing. We will learn about Firpo coming back from North America. We'll learn about Aronson coming back from North America, Tanaka coming back from Asia. By that point, none of those players will have returned yet, which is not good, because it looks like if you're playing on Friday, you probably want some footballers back on Wednesday. That's why it scares me a touch. And after Daniel Farke's press conference, I would personally recommend hopping over to Just Joe's channel for his live stream, and then hopping over to this Joe's channel for my live stream, because I like doing a little bit of a chill, chatty live stream shortly after the presses just to discuss absolutely everything. But going into things, I'm a little bit more confident in where the squad is now than I was before the international break, unless any of these players have come back injured, which is, of course, very, very bad. But at the end of the day, as always, that is just what I think. And as always, I kind of want to know what you guys think. As I do sometimes, I'm recording this particular stream whilst on, not stream, I'm recording this particular video whilst I'm on a live stream. So I've got many comments that I'm able to hop through. In terms of comments, you can pop your comments down below. Like the video if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you particularly like this video. You can even become a channel member. You'll get videos like this one earlier than the vast majority of people, unless you watch the stream as well. Secret way of doing things. But at the end of the day, hope you enjoyed. Like, subscribe, become a member, all that fun stuff, and I will see you later. I really like Mateo. He's got a really good choice in names beginning with J. Got a lot of taste, that boy. I'm a fan. And that I will call the end of that particular video. Bish bash bosh. That will go up for, I'll say, members tonight, and then non-members at like 6 AM tomorrow, I think. I think that's fair. Looking at what Michael has said, we're going to hop over to our favourite place, our most wonderful, magical spot to be in, Questions Corner. Is there any chance that Leeds can recall Darko back from his loan deal with Plymouth in January, help bolster the midfield? My issue with that is, yes, if we don't get a free agent, I would probably maybe lean in that direction, but beyond Ampadu and Gruev coming back, how many minutes is he realistically going to get here? Because I'm going to have a look at his FB ref stats, actually. Just so I got the numbers in front of me, so I can be absolutely certain, but I feel like he's been getting a lot of minutes. He has, yeah. Full 9 matches played in the Championship so far at Plymouth. So he's developing whilst he's out there, which I think is really, really helpful for us. And it means that over the long term, we're going to have a better player. But at the same time, is he quite good enough yet? I don't know. There's also this, Vuba could be back and he can play central defensive midfield. I forgot this, yeah. Heskey's Joseph's uncle. And I don't understand how that adds up, but somehow it does. But I'm not going to question it too much, because why not? What I'm going to do is I'm going to revert us to our favourite place. I'm going to pop us into Questions Corner. So if anyone does have any questions, chuck them in the chat. I'll give them an answer. I'm not going to do too much of Questions Corner in this stream, though, because I already have a bit of a sore throat, because I've been on work calls for like 5 hours today, which is fun. I've also had to fix a washing machine. That was good. That was a first. And now I'm doing a stream, which should be lovely and pleasant. My most recent video, did I publish it this morning, or was that yesterday morning? Oh, it was yesterday morning. Shit. Well, that's fine. Do you think we could see Schmidt play as a DM if needed? I think so. But I think he's not a very defensive-minded man, is he? Have you ever seen Isaac Schmidt somewhere that is in his own half at a very, very sensible pace? I would say probably no, but complicates things a touch, doesn't it? What I am going to do, though, is I'm going to do a thumbnail. Would you play Darlow instead of Ilan? He got very good reviews playing for Wales in the recent internationals. No. One second. I will explain in a moment. Once I have done this thumbnail. I wouldn't, purely because a lot of the compliments that he got was, look, he got a clean sheet for Wales. They didn't concede a single shot on target in that match. It's quite hard to not have a clean sheet when the other team doesn't shoot at your goal. It was, yeah. I wouldn't swap him around. Because at the end of the day, everyone's going to make mistakes at some point. I'm not too mad that Ilan's made a mistake. I know a lot of people are, and a lot of people will be for an extended period of time, but people being mad isn't something new that happens to goalkeepers in football. I'm going to quickly share the thumbnail. Just so you guys have an idea of what it's looking like and whether or not you think it is looking good. Share the screen. This one. Bosh, what are we thinking? I don't hate that. I think that looks alright. But as always, let me know what you guys are thinking. Are we thinking good, bad, middle? I've also realised I forgot to end that poll earlier. So let's do that now. But yeah, it's a very, very simple thumbnail. But Schmidt, I believe, can also play in a number of positions. Midfield's one of them. Yeah, he plays absolutely everywhere, to be honest with you. That's great. What if he keeps making mistakes and costs us? Then at that point, you make changes. But at the point where someone's made one mistake, to immediately go, you don't deserve to be in the team anymore, is a little bit wild. When one of the complaints, right, that Meslier got was that he should have done better for the penalty. There were penalties last season in the match against Salford where they just flew through his hands for Darlow, and it's like, are we just forgetting that? I think maybe. But I'd rather we didn't forget that. I'd rather we be honest with ourselves rather than being honest with ourselves when it comes to the players that we've decided we don't like, which is what a lot of people seem to do. I do like that idea. I might do that now. So I will do the edit and make the adjustment. But before I do, I'm going to trust you guys with one more question going into Questions Corner. Because we love Questions Corner. It's our favourite place to be. If you miss a penalty, do we get rid of the player? Yeah, it's the same idea. Strout had a penalty saved, therefore he can't play in net. Not in net. He can't play in defence anymore. No, madness. Penalties are one tiny part of the game that's not even guaranteed to happen. I think making a mistake is not enough to say, okay, you're gone now. Because it's very, 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 very quick to kick out and get mad at people. And I don't think that's what we should be doing. Costley's with his taking the opening fixture against Portsmouth should have saved the penalty against Norwich and Sunderland Howler. Sunderland Howler, fair. Absolutely. Big mistake. That Norwich one, again, he's looked worse because he's tried to react to where the ball's going. He looks like he sets himself to go to the right, the ball goes to his left. A lot of the time, a goalkeeper will just keep diving to the right because it looks better. Instead, he was like, okay, fuck, I've seen that that's going the other way, and he's changed the way that he's diving, and he doesn't get to it. But it's tough. Portsmouth, yeah, a bit limp-wristed, but at the same time, there's multiple people at fault for that goal. But anyway, I am going to end the stream in a second because my face hurts. But we are going to instead head over to Better, a lovely little place where the various shenanigans are madness. It's great. And bring the stream to a close in a second. So I hope you enjoyed. If you did, pop a like on it, subscribe, even become a channel member. That's always massively appreciated. And yeah, I will see you later. Also, shout Pigeon Raid when we go over there. See you shortly. Ta-ra.